Our group looked at food insecurity in the United States. Food insecurity is when one does not know where or when they will get their next meal. It consists of people not having the access to safe, nutritious food to maintain a good, healthy, and active lifestyle. Food insecurity is based off of these factors: food availability, food access, and food use. As college students, we do not realize the food we waste on a daily basis. This directly relates to food insecurity in the U.S. Food insecurity is a major problem in the United States that can be broken up into categories like people, place, and time.
There are 16 million food insecure children in the U.S., which is 21.6% of children. 21 million children receive free or reduced price lunch during the school year, and there are 101,000 U.S. schools that operate national school lunch programs to provide meals to low-income children. But what happens during the summer? Only 2.3 million children receive meals during the summer months of 2009 through the Summer Food Service Program. Overall, there are 17 million households that are food insecure. On another note, kids who experience hunger are more likely to suffer from anxiety, depression, behavior problems, and other illnesses, and hungry adults miss more work and consume more health care than those who don't go hungry. And prior to contrary belief on this campus, 1 in 6 kids are food insecure.
What do you think the rate of hunger is in America?
1 out of 12. 1 out of 20. 1 out of 35.
Every 10 people are hungry. Yes, but I believe 1 out of 8 people are hungry in the United States.
1 in every 25.
What do you think the rate of hunger is in America?
1 in every 1,000 people.
There's actually no exact type of person that fits into the food insecure category. It is often those who you would least expect, such as hardworking adults, children, and senior citizens who you would expect to be taken care of the most. As you can see in Figure 2, among all racial and ethnic groups, a greater percentage of Black and Hispanic families with children were poorer than white or Asian families with children in the family structures illustrated. Over 1/3, or 33.4%, of all Black families with children were poor, compared to just 10% of white families. In 2010, over 50% of Hispanic single mothers were poor, more than twice the rate of Hispanic married couple families and nearly 10 times the rate of white married couple families.
What are the highest and lowest states for food insecure people? The states with the highest rates of food insecurity are Mississippi, Texas, and Arkansas. The states with the lowest amount of insecure people are North Dakota, Massachusetts, and Virginia. This graph on the right shows that 42% of households that live below poverty level are food insecure. Also, that 21% of households with children are food insecure. The large map in the middle shows the states that break up the 16.4% of the United States population that live in food insecure households. As you can see, the red states are the most food insecure. Next, the orange is the majority of the states that are about 11 to 13.9% food insecure. For example, California and Florida. Yellow shows the states that are about 8 to 10.9% of food insecure places, like Montana and Michigan. Green shows 6 to 8.9% of households who live in food insecurity, such as Virginia and New Hampshire.
In terms of the epidemiologic variable time, we can see that the prevalence of food insecurity changed very little since 2008-2009. We can see that there was a spike in 2008, which is when the recession hit, and it has pretty much stayed steady ever since. There are intervention methods that have been put in place today. The total cost of hunger to American society is said to be about $90 billion a year, yet it would cost only around $10 to $12 billion a year to fix the problem. The SNAP Recovery Act is one of the intervention methods that has been put in place today. SNAP stands for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, and it is a list of guidelines that families have to meet in order to participate in the program, such as income.
However, right here on campus, Sodexo Dining Services has methods currently being implemented, yet the problem needs to be addressed outside of the PC gates as well. Sodexo is recognized as a leader in global sustainability with a sustainability plan that will affect 80 countries and their 30,600 sites. Some of these incentives include trying to reduce the water intensity. They will also try to reduce organic waste that's generated at their sites and their other operations. They will also try to fight hunger by engaging the entire Sodexo community. This includes employees, customers, clients, and supply chain partners. They also have a company-wide effort to set April aside for employees to join forces to fight hunger in their communities. They donate perishable and non-perishable food as well. They also provide local food banks with nutritious, easy-to-prepare, and non-perishable food for students at risk for hunger. They also have a summer lunch program tied with community hunger relief organizations to organize free lunches for kids in need.
As we have mentioned, we should not lose hope. Recently, we ran into an article on providence.edu that talked about a food rescue program that two of our fellow classmates have created right here on campus. Dave O'Connor and Nick Canessa, both juniors here at PC, have started a program that allows Raymond Dining Hall to donate their leftover foods to local charities. We would plan on targeting our college campus as well as college campuses around the country, since that is the population we relate to most. We would empower and educate students across the United States on how big of an impact we as young people could have on such a large issue, just by being more aware of how much food we are picking up during our meals in the dining hall, or saying no to leftovers at a restaurant that could provide a good quality meal the next day. As we have learned in epidemiology, our day-to-day behaviors could make the biggest difference. Now, please join us on talking to some of our classmates here at PC, and one in particular, Dave O'Connor, one of the co-founders of the PC Food Rescue Program.
I'm the co-founder of the Fryer Food Rescue here at Providence College.
Do you think wasting food is a problem on our campus?
I think food waste is a big problem here and also in the United States and many other places around the world. And there's a lot of things we can do to change that.
And what do you think we should do?
I think just take the first steps is to address the problem and realize that it is an issue. And to realize that every time we go up and get food, to make sure that we're going to eat all that food. And if we're not, to make sure that we're giving it.
Can you tell us a little bit about the program you've started here on campus?
Sure. So the Fryer Food Rescue is affiliated with the Food Recovery Network. It's a national organization run by college students that make sure that food, specifically at college campuses and the surrounding area, to be used for good use. Currently, we're working with two organizations, Marion House and Macaulay House, which are both food shelters that take care of underprivileged, typically homeless and low-income residents in the Providence area. And by donating the food in Ray, we're allowing them to better allocate their resources. These are organizations that don't have a lot of funding, and by donating food that's already pre-cooked, it allows them to use money for other things that they do, such as clothing, housing, and just meet the needs of the people in a much better way.
Finish the food on your plate?
No.
Do you always take your leftovers home at restaurants?
No.
Food on your plate?
No.
Do you always take your leftovers home at restaurants?
No.
Finish the food on your plate in Ray?
No.
Do you ever use the expression, I'm starving?
All the time.
Use the phrase, I'm starving?
Yes.
You always take your leftovers home at a restaurant?
Yes. And then I always put them out the next day.